So I want to, kick it off with a quote. Carol Moseley Braun. I think quoting Carol Moseley Braun, I mean, yes, it's no coincidence, it's purposeful that I quote Carol Moseley Braun, our only African-American U.S. Senator, woman senator. It's no coincidence that I quote her on the night that I interview for the U.S. Senate, right? Her quote is, "Defining myself as opposed to being defined by others is one of the most difficult challenges I face." And that actually runs throughout this campaign. I think when we think about that quote and that term, it definitely informs everything we're doing across this campaign too, right? Like, we have to define for ourselves what this progressive movement is, what it means to be a Bernie supporter, what it means for people who we call Bernie-crats to be Bernie-crats, right? Defining ourselves, self-determination, it is so intrinsic to the work that we're doing, and finding a need to rebuke and refute false narratives of like the Bernie bro, the overzealous Bernie supporter, the out of touch Bernie supporters. I saw some piece earlier that said that, for example, 50%, I think it was 50% of those who voted for Bernie Sanders this evening, they were saying that they would vote for Trump in the fall if he was the nominee. They would vote for Trump, right? If I was given their choices in the fall. And they were like, well, shows what that means about the Bernie supporters. Statistics are really an interesting thing. We have this internal dialogue going on here at the Progressive Army about exit polls and statistics and numbers. Statistics can mean whatever the presenter makes them mean, right? You have these raw numbers and then you make them fit a narrative. To say that Bernie supporters who voted for people who voted for Bernie Sanders in West Virginia, now I'm gonna be real. I know quite a few Republicans in West Virginia who did vote for Bernie Sanders. More conservative leaning who also voted for Bernie Sanders, but they do not like Hillary Clinton for the variety of reasons they do not like her. Now, some people say, well, people voted for her in 2008. Yeah, it was a very different landscape and climate, I think, politically in 2008. And I think a point I saw also, to quote someone from Twitter, that, people are tired of establishment politics. When in 2014, when the House, the West Virginia House, West Virginia legislature was an 80-year Democratic stronghold, and Republicans basically ran on the fact that, you let the Dems run, they've been doing all this stuff, they're so bad for you, blah, blah, blah. It was like some of the lowest, as abysmally low voter turnout. The Democratic Party absolutely dropped the ball. Republicans take over the West Virginia legislature and come in. They try to push through all these different crazy, and everyone's like pulling out their hair once the next session comes in, because it's like, oh my God, they absolutely gutted the water protection bill that many people it was a bipartisan effort in the 2014 session. By 2015, they have gutted it. It had everyone convinced that it was a bad idea, and industry supported it. So, what does that mean? It means that people are tired. People are tired of the same old, same old. They want somebody different. They want somebody new. And no, they're not going to line up behind, your standard barrier of establishment, because the establishment has not paid off from the hills to the hollers to the hood. I mean, we need change. We need real change. And we continue to look forward. We continue to talk about, I'm really enjoying talking to progressive candidates who are up and coming. There's all this hoopla about Bernie not supporting down ballots. The way this movement is growing, we are supporting down ballots, right, guys? Like, we are providing the tools. We're providing, the opportunity, the funding for those of you who donate and help fundraise. We're helping to build this movement. There are some really great groups out there. I just found out about Grassroots Select. There's brand new Congress, which is looking towards 2018 and not really in place right now in 2016. But Grassroots Select, from what I've seen, is working here in 2016. You have Democracy for America. There are all these groups out there that are on the same page as us. So we need to figure out how to leverage opportunity, right? Because yes, Bernie Sanders, it's great to be working for him, to really be grinding and supporting him. But we have all these other people running and all these other races that we have to figure out as well.